Hey Dane, how you been, man?
Oh, great, great, great. Ready for a man.
Crazy day, huh?
I'm amped up for this one. So
It,
that's all I
it's
pretty much say at the beginning here.
it's crazy because you and we've been looking up to. We get to talk to kind of two of our heroes in one episode. Remember that crazy guy that likes to ninja punch bulls and stuff? Vin,
Yeah.
likes to do karate chops off. By the way, Vin, how's
Uh,
how's the movie going? It's Kickboxer 13, Vin.
yeah, well, we're still writing a little
Yeah.
bit of the choreography on the fight scenes and stuff like that. But,
I'm
little
telling
by
you, it's going
little.
to be the epic fight scene when I have Vin John on the back of a bull karate chopping, Van Damme. Like it's going to be an epic scene, man. So I can't wait. So Van, I told you, man, we wanted to have you back on in a different way.
Yep.
Thanks for being a part of this. I know you've done about every challenge there is. I feel like known to man. And there's a guy that you and I and Dane all know. The world knows him, one of the world's strongest men competitors 10 times over, holds records that are just unbelievable. Literally a mountain mover in real life, just a physical specimen, but also the most gentle person at the same time you'll ever meet. Just a hero. Anybody that does anything with their life that's motivated has known who Nick Best is, and continues to be just a great influence on society. Everybody, he gives them his time. He's never too busy to stop and talk to you. So little bit of a fanboy moment, but I want to get right down to it and bring down this living icon, Nick Best. Nick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. That was very kind. Thank you.
Yes, it's all true, Nick. All true, man. We've got some questions over the years from watching you. I have to preface, as Dane always says, to say it to you. I watched a lot of your videos, not in a creepy way, but I've seen thousands of hours of your stuff, man. So Dane's like, let him know it's just for research. I'm like, no, dude, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
So these questions.
It's fine. Ask away, man.
I love it. So question one, and then we'll kind of rotate through it. So take me back before World's Strongest Man, before breaking records, being just the worldwide phenomenon that you are, before lifting. When did it all start for you as an athlete? How young were you when you picked up your first barbell, if you will?
I was 14. I was playing high school football, and I needed to get bigger to play. I was 5'3" and about 130 pounds. And I was a nose guard and defensive end, and I was a little light in the tail and needed to get bigger and stronger if I wanted to keep playing. So one of my friends, Anthony Bach, dragged me into the gym, and Anthony also did powerlifting, and he dragged me into powerlifting. So that's where it started, in the high school gym. I started powerlifting my second year in, so it was in 1985. So I started.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So you were lifting as a high schooler and playing football. Did you play other sports too outside of football when you were growing up?
Yeah, I did a little baseball, played quite a bit of baseball, but then I did track my senior year of high school, and then did track all through college as well. So I did play football and track through college.
I see the
javelin.
I see the track thing, Nick, and it blew my mind because, again, obviously, I know you have to keep a certain weight to maintain competitiveness.
Yep.
And when you told us that you ran a 7.5 minute mile, I was like, I'm done. This dude's a specimen. Forget it.
No, I ran my best mile is 5:15.
Wow.
That's my best mile, and I was 2:20 when I ran that.
Wow. Okay. Game over. Dan, go ahead, man. Question two.
Yeah. Now
we're talking 20 or 30 years ago. So
wow.
It's a while ago, but yeah.
Oh, that's still impressive to this day. That's a good time. Especially if you're not especially if it's not a specified thing in the track. So
yeah, awesome. It was weird though, because I didn't have a car back then, so I had a pair of rollerblades. And I would rollerblade to Sonoma State, which is the school I went to, and then go to school, go to football practice, go to the gym, and then rollerblade to work, and then rollerblade home. And sometimes I just go rollerblade at night to go rollerblading at night because it was fun. So not a lot to do in the park at night. So back in those days.
Now, when you started competing in the strongman competitions around the world, what are through all the competitions you've done through the years, what are a couple of the favorite events that you have that you think help showcase you best?
I like that.
Pardon the pun.
The farmer's walk I did in Iceland, the very first world level competition I went to, that was IFSA Worlds. The first event I do at IFSA Worlds, I break the world record in the farmer's walk. That was pretty darn cool. And then the yoke or the squat at World's Strongest Man, and clearly the shield carries. Both times I did them at World's Strongest Man, I won those events. So the shield carries, it's about self-loathing and just being able to deal with the pain longer than everyone else. That's all it is. Grit and determination.
Wow.
In the storms.
Yeah, go ahead, Van.
Yeah, I was just saying, weathering the storms, man, the suffering that you go through whenever you're doing something like that. If you've not been through anything like that, it's hard to imagine. But I think I know a little, almost what you're talking about.
Well, you've probably been kicked by a few bulls, and then it's probably taken, a week to feel better after that. It's kind of like the same thing. It's just, it's a much shorter time, and the pain isn't quite so intense, but you pay for it for a while.
Wow.
You feel it, but it's, you just got to be really willing to be uncomfortable and be comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's good.
As long as you're willing to do that, you're gonna do very well at those events.
Yeah, that's good. Ben, go ahead, man, with yours.
I was just gonna say. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
What's your I don't know, what's your biggest fear as an athlete?
Yeah, that's good.
Biggest fear as an athlete now, pretty much, to be quite honest, the biggest fear as an athlete is just dropping dead.
Really?
And leaving my family kind of before I'm ready to. That's about it. That's like the only fear I really have, because I know if I get injured, I'm going to get over the injury and get back to it. It's just going to take some time, and it's just willing to sacrifice the time and the effort to climb back into it. And as long as you're willing to do that, you're going to come back from just about any injury. I've had more than my fair share. I mean, heck, I had a nephrectomy in January because I had cancer. I had a renal cell carcinoma tumor in my my kidney that was a third the size of my kidney. And so they had to go in and take that out in January, and I'm already back squatting 800 pounds and deadlifting around 700. So planning on doing a powerlifting meet here in September. So I'll work my way back into being competitive again. It's just going to take time. I know I can do it. So.
Yeah. Well, Nick, I'm glad I didn't know that. Obviously, we would never have asked that question. I'm glad you're doing better, man. I'm glad you're in recovery. So that's good, man.
I feel great. I mean, it's
good.
It's once I learned how my body was going to react to having one kidney instead of two, and how to train around that, and hydration, things I can't do. I can't do ibuprofen anymore. So I have to do a lot of ice baths now to reduce inflammation, as opposed to taking like ibuprofen or whatever. I would recommend, actually, for kidney function, everyone just stop taking ibuprofen and start doing ice baths. It's way easier on your body.
Agreed. Yep.
And I mean, 1,000 times easier on your body and your kidney health, because they don't say anything to you about kidney health until you get below 60 on your GFR. So you could be at like 70, which you got clear issues coming up, and they won't say anything, which you could stop that and keep from getting to 60 ahead of time with some preventative things. And they won't say anything until you're at 60, and now you got a problem, and now you're trying to do things to fix the problem, when you could have an ounce of prevention if they said something to you when you were at 80 or at 70 or even at 90 as it's coming down. It would prevent a lot of stuff. You're far better off taking an ice bath every day than you are taking ibuprofen.
I saw you. I'm glad for that word of advice. Remember when you guys were doing an episode on Strongest Man history, and they threw you in, and you're like, man, but you did it, man. You did it. You sure did. I'll go next. And then, so I'm looking at, obviously, you've influenced. It's not even just an exaggeration. I'm not trying to be pandering. You've influenced countless people, but I know you spoke of some of your influences, right? Who's been, though, in your career? Because you got track, you got football, you've got strongman. Who's been your go-to in your life?
Well, clearly Eddie Cohen has been a massive influence on me when it comes to powerlifting and just training in general. Dorian Yates and the blood and guts thing, kind of where you do one or two really super hard sets. I've kind of adapted that a little bit, which is Menser's training too, the heavy duty style of training. As far as that goes, Bull Stewart had a very big impact on me when I was younger. Matter of fact, he took my training journal, I think in '94, and said if he changed these things, he'd be champion by '96, and he was right. But he went through things, he sat there and told people what to do for probably an hour, and then turns around, looks at me, goes, "Give me your book and don't listen to anything I just told them." And he starts going through things. He goes, "You're overtraining. You need to fix this. You need to fix that." And he was the one that kind of got it in my head. If you put 33 pounds of lift on every lift every year, that's 100 pounds on your total a year. You do that 3, 4, 5 years in a row, and you go from an average guy to world class. He goes, it's just being methodical and planning out your training. And it really stuck. I mean, that's one thing that really lasted me. And then he told me that in '94. So
Wow.
it's been very good to me.
Wow. That's amazing.
So he was very influential. I mean, Anthony Bach, the guy that first dragged me into the weight room, was very influential. He still is. He's still one of my dear friends. I don't talk to him as much as I'd like because we're both busy, but and then Kenny Aggio up in Northern California really impacted my life in a positive way.
I love it. Love it, man. So many those names I'm familiar with. And like I said, the way we look at you is neat to see who kind of helps motivate you. It's really cool.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Strongman wise, Magnus Ver.
Yeah.
Back in that, like for the older guys, I mean, I as much as I am a fan of the sport, I love watching Brian dissect things and go through things. He's very analytical. But Magnus Ver really could look at the things that he wasn't supposed to do and figure out how to do them. I learned a lot from watching him. And I watched a lot of the guys. I would ask them questions here and there, but I would watch their actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
So if you sit there and you just watch people, you're going to learn way more. And then ask them a few questions here and there to adjust things. It's kind of like talking to Stan Efferdine about his diet. He gave me the ebook, I read it, and then I asked him a couple of questions, got adjustments, and I've been great ever since. It's stuff like that.
Wow.
Oh yeah. And it's those kind of things that you hear that just keep resonating through your career, whenever you're up against something tough. So it's great to have those kind of names to draw back on it and remember what they've told you. So
yeah, I've been very blessed. I really have.
Yeah. Oh, and so now moving forward with the rest of the year coming up and recovering and getting back to, that competitive level that you're used to being at, what do the next 6 months look like for you? What's on the horizon for you as far as your career goes?
I'm going to do a powerlifting meet here in September. Depending on how that goes, I'll either do another one after November because I turned 55 in November and I have a whole nother class of records to go after. And then go after those, and then I'll have to see how my body's functioning. And if it's still functioning pretty good, you never know where you could see me doing things again. I know I plan on going back to FIFA next year in Norway. I'm not sure if I want to go back for that as a judge or having fun.
I love that. Little hashtag, right? Little trailer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm going to do the Hercules hold again. Except for I'm going to go after the record on that because that was the first time I ever did the Hercules hold. Never done it before. I could see why they didn't want me to do it at Worlds.
Man.
Or the Giant Slam qualifiers. Because I was like, not knowing what I was doing and just grabbing it and going like that. And I was like, okay, that's good. But I trained for that one. I know I'm going to do very well at it. And then they have the Orm Stralsund log out there at FIFA.
Yeah.
So I want to take a run at that one for sure.
Big things coming, man. There's plenty to go. I love it.
Those I will be doing next year for sure.
I love it.
Oh yeah. Sounds like there's plenty left in the tank too.
There's lots left in the tank. The desire is still there. I have to be patient with getting back into that type of conditioning. So as long as I'm patient, I know I'll get there. I just got to be patient to finish the journey there.
I love that. Then go ahead with yours, man, for the next one.
That's cool. Yeah. So like you just kind of mentioned a few of the things that you're looking at doing, but which one of those things or something that maybe you didn't mention that's on your radar to accomplish?
I want to go after the world record in the farmer's walk again. They did 4:55 a hand for 20 meters. And I want to say it was like 20 to 25 seconds I think I can do that faster than that.
Wow.
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 So,
So like when you're doing the farmer's carry, what, like I've always kind of been curious, what's the part of your body that you feel like is getting used the most, or what's, and I'm sure it's probably different for different people, because I know
Right.
that just, when we do exercises, and when I was coaching people, you could tell when someone's deficient in an area, and so they're saying, well, I don't feel it in this part of my body, or whatever. So sure, it's probably different for everybody, but what's it for you?
Yeah, the first part of that is getting my grip all the way to 100%, to where, because I've actually picked 500 pounds on the farmers before.
Wow.
So it's just getting to where I got like 10 feet with it, which is pretty good. Well, I think it's really good, actually. I don't think
That's amazing.
I was gonna say.
But I don't think of it that way, it's just me.
Yeah.
But the first part's going to be getting my grip to where I can hold that confidently for probably close to 30 seconds. Once I know that I can hold that, I'll be able to train it. Once I can train it, it'll get better. Because I do a lot of trap work, so it really doesn't affect my traps that much. People like to bash me on the internet that I do the 150-pound dumbbell shrugs for sets of 50 to 70, and I'm jerking and I'm doing stuff. I'm like, you don't understand. This really helps for farmer's walk. It's okay if you don't understand it, but this is what it directly applies to. So, and then the pick and the abs and the stability, I'll have to do a lot of side bends and stuff like that to really overdevelop my obliques so that I'm stable with it as I'm walking with it. Those are probably going to be the areas where I will have to work the most, because picking it won't be too bad. It's a side handle deadlift, and it's at like 18 inches. That, it's a little over it's like 910 pounds. So it shouldn't be too bad on a side handle pick.
I like how you said it's only 910 pounds, right? like my car weighs 900 pounds, and it's like, it's no big deal, Nick. It's just only 910. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I can shred cheese on my abs. No big deal. You know what I mean? So I like that. That was pretty smooth, Nick. Thank you, Nick. So I was like, hey, I lifted 30 pounds, okay, I'm just kidding, man. So
yeah, but it's all
Nick,
relative to
I know
the person and how I've been training. You got to figure.
I'm kidding.
I started lifting in '84. I've been going over 40 years.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
It's so impressive,
Wow.
Nick. I just love it. So
I'm trying also to get to 30 years of squatting over 800 and totaling over 2,000. This was the 27th year. So I got 3 more years to go.
I think you got it, Nick. I think you got it, man, for sure. I hope you live stream all these events, man, because we follow it.
Yep.
I can't wait to see you do that. There's a segment, Nick, I'll tell you about. So I kind of left you in the dark on this part. We try, and you've done a billion episodes, interviews. We try to separate a few things that maybe you haven't heard before in a segment called Rapid Fire. So let me explain this. This will be on DraftKings later. Just kidding.
Okay.
So Dane and I and Van, we bet on these. Okay. So what we do, the winner of these 5 question set gets lunch provided by the losers. So now that I got Van and Dan, I'm about to get a real good lunch. Thank you, Van, Dan, and Van for this. So these are, imagine for a second, Nick, this is, imagine anything's possible. This could be past or present. These people maybe have already passed. They may be alive again. This is just a weird kind of wacko rapid fire fun segment to kind of pick your personality. Okay. So you show up and you're going back to do a competition. You're going to do the farmer's carry. But the thing is, before you start, you're required, every time you pick up and drop, you have to sing a song on karaoke by one of these 2 artists. Okay. So you got to go, you got to belt it out. You can't half it. You got to go. Are you going to pick songs from The Police or Phil Collins every time you stop along your?
Probably Phil Collins.
Yes, I had that one, Dan. I had that one right. I did. So I could just see you like pick it up and go, one more night, and then drop it in and keep going. So Ben, what'd you have, man? Did you have that one?
I had the same one. I got it.
Okay, good.
I had the Police. I thought you might want to hit a falsetto, maybe. As Sting goes, Sting has a tendency to go a little bit higher.
Roxanne! Yeah, he's picking up Roxanne.
Yeah,
I love it. So next one, man. So multiverse is happening. It's possible. A lot of times I think I've even saying it in the most endearing, loving, passionate way, they call you Baby Thanos. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
you're Baby Thanos because of the physique and all that. But you get a chance to arm wrestle one of these two people, and it's reality doesn't exist. Show up, you're sitting there. You can arm wrestle Thanos or Hercules. Who are you going with?
Oh, I'm gonna go with Thanos.
I had that one. I did. Would you have, Dane?
The head-on head thing, you know?
Yeah,
wanna be
I think it'd be cool.
Thanos.
Oh, there you go.
I thought so. I thought so. Dane, did you have that one, Ben?
No, I had Hercules on that one.
Okay. What about you, Ben?
I said Hercules too. So
Man, there we go. 2 for 2, baby. Let's go. All right.
Yeah.
Give me some Red Lobster. Let's go.
I was going with the whole I need to defeat a god.
Okay.
Right.
I love it.
Well,
I love that.
technically Thanos, you know, with the Infinity Gauntlet was stronger than
God's love.
just about all the gods.
Yep.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
true.
Doing godlike things with the carries. I love it. So next question, man. So you're called up, Nick Best. A lot of strongmen do movie roles and things like that. So you're called up to be a part of the third installment of 300. You're going to basically be someone that's helping Leonidas. You know, it's kind of a prequel type thing. So you're in 300 now, and you're going to go up and fight Xerxes. We've all seen 300. We love it. You know, the guy with the cool. So you get to jump up one of those slow motion things where he grabs the spear, kind of like this is Sparta. But the producers give you one of two lines you have to say as you strike Xerxes. You either get to say, "Y'all ready for this?" or "I got the power."
I got the power.
Yes,
Yeah.
I had it. I knew it. I
did
and then
too.
they cue the song. I got the power as you strike Xerxes. I got it. I knew it.
Oh,
I
I
had
was
it.
going with the He-Man theme.
Yeah, that
I see it. Full power of
grace.
Grayskull. I love it.
I love the power.
I love it.
Yeah.
So next one. So you get to you show them back up. There's some competitive questions, right? So you get to show back up, and you get two celebrity guests that get to basically commentate you doing a competition. Okay. Your two choices to be your, I think I know this one just from your time frame, but you get to either have Vince Vaughn commentate your event or Jim Belushi commentate your event. Who are you going with?
Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna go with Vince Vaughn.
Yes, I knew it. I knew it.
Belushi with Vince Vaughn all day.
I'm 4 for 4, Dane. How about you, Van? What you at?
I got it. Yep.
You did. Okay. What about you, Dane?
Yep.
I'm 2 for 4 so far. Man,
Okay.
I'm always at the short end. I'm always at the short end of this.
Sorry, Dan.
Okay.
I need to do
About to
more.
get some good
I
lunch.
need to do some more research.
I love it. I love it. So last question. So a little bit of a different type of event. Instead of doing, competitions with physical strength, you show up. They say, "Hey, we need you to fly out." They don't tell you what it is. You got to do an event, but they don't tell you what it is. You get there, and you're required, Nick Best, to go head to head against one of these two people doing a on the spot poetry slam on the spot, and you got to go with poetry slam. That's where you you basically do rhymes, and somebody will drop a beat, and you just make rhymes happen. It doesn't have to make any sense. I could say Dane is a poet, didn't know it. He's cool. You just have to say stuff, right? So you have to basically do a poetry slam against either A, Dwayne Johnson, or B, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who are you going against?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
5 for 5. Let's go. All right, I got it. Dane, what'd you have? Did you have The Rock?
Yeah,
because I'd probably do it in his voice, making fun.
Yeah.
The Arnold accent. Just
Get to the chopper.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just to mess with him and get it in his head. So that I was going to beat him at this.
I love it. Would you have?
You got a month. I got another month to train, and I'll still get the big guy. Then you still lose. It's going to be okay.
I love it. Ben, what'd you have on that? Did you have Arnold?
Yeah, I had Arnold. Yeah.
But I beat you though. All right, man. Let's go.
Yep,
So
you got
thank you, Nick. That's just a little segment we do, man. Just kind of rapid. Maybe you haven't had something like that in previous interviews. So thanks for being a good sport.
That's pretty cool.
I love it. Thanks, man. I'll give it back to Dane for the next one.
Yeah, Nick. On this segment, we call it open mic. We open the floor up to our guests to maybe get a philosophy or a mantra they've carried through the years with them that kind of help them get to the next level or help them through a rough patch. With all the influences you've had, great ones in the past, have they given you something, or have you developed something through the years that have kind of helped you along that you can now pass on to that next generation, or those of us who want to be like you?
Yeah, your dreams are your dreams. And there's nobody to stop you from achieving your dreams but you. I mean, there's the only thing that's going to hold you back is yourself. And so if you have a dream to competing at World's Strongest Man, if you have a dream to be a bodybuilder, if you have a dream to be a billionaire, whatever that dream is, go get it, go achieve it. don't accept no for an answer.
Hmm.
And just go and go and go until you get there. You don't have to be the absolute best in the world at something, but you can take it to become the best of your ability. Be the best you can be. That's my
Wow.
thing, is be the best you can be.
Man, I think it's built into, and I watched this before, Ben, before you take the last one. Nick, you said some things over the years and over just following you that have always impressed me. And it's interesting from a strongman standpoint. The reason I felt like you've been the most motivational, because you're not 6'9", you're not pushing 450. You have, if I may say this, more of a normal size body type, right? But you do all these amazing Herculean things, but you're not like, it's not like this giant of a man. I love that about you, that you've went out and done these things and you've relied on yourself, not just how big you were as at birth. You've really done a great thing without, you had to do on your own, if you will. That's impressive, man.
Yeah, it's overachieving, and
man,
anybody can overachieve. You can always exceed what your limit is, and I just try to be the best I can be, and sometimes I go past where my talent can take me. And it's okay. I go past and I just keep going.
I love it. I love that. Nick or Vin, you want to take 9? The last one?
Yeah. Okay. So if you weren't a strongman, what do you think you would have been?
Oh, good grief. You know what? Probably a long distance runner, to be quite honest with you. Probably like a Ironman competitor, where you do the running and the swimming. I had a pretty high VO2 max. I tested very high in college, and she actually told me I'd be better off doing that than competing in strength sports. I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to continue to compete strength sports. Thanks.
I love that.
Apparently my VO2 max was higher than all but like 2 of the milers in the country or something at that time.
Oh, wow.
But
that's great. That's awesome.
Possibly that, because I really liked that. I really liked long bike rides. I used to like running. If I ever drop back down under 200 pounds, I'll probably do a lot more of that, but that's going to be a while. It's just not viable to keep that kind of muscle mass on you. But I really like doing that stuff. So
I love
probably something like that. And it just keeps my head clear. There's a lot of time to think as you're doing stuff like that. It's just really good for you mentally.
Agreed.
Well, Nick, I will say, thank you, Vin. I will say, we've been itching for a long time. Someone who is motivated, and it's neat because I don't do heavy lifting. I run all the time, but I watch what you do. And I feel like if you can do what you do, I can go out and run 3 or 4 miles easily because I watch what you do. We did our first marathon last year, and I watched your stuff. It's like it translates to me somehow. What you do, pushing yourself past your limits and making yourself the best version of you, inspired me to go out and do our first marathon watching you. So thank you for just continuing to be the best and inspiring those, man. Dane, do you have anything to add to that? Because that was awesome, man.
No, I mean, I'm that same boat. The motivation to get there and to listen to not only you, Nick, but Vin as well. The discipline it takes to get to these levels is something that you have to keep in the forefront, because everybody's motivated to do something, but the discipline gets you there.
It's the discipline in the end, and what you're willing to sacrifice to get to those goals. I would rather do that than go to a bar and hang out with guys and drink. I worked for a beer company for 18 years. I could probably tell you more about alcohol and what it tastes like and what it's supposed to taste like between all the 5 different, the different liquors and the beers and all the things that go on with that, being a cicerone and, taking liquor and wine tests at my previous employments. But respecting what it is and doing it's counterproductive for me. So I'd rather spend my time, doing things that are resting, active rest, stretching, doing physical therapy things, and then eating and doing the boring, mundane things with the same enthusiasm as I did the first day I did them to get to where I want to go. It's more important to me than having a good night out with the guys.
Vin, you talked about that a lot, Vin, even in your preparation. It's the stuff people don't see on camera, right, Vin? Like what Nick is saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned it in the last time we talked, but I live in an apartment. I had a house, I had land, I had animals, I had a lot of responsibilities. And I realized that I wasn't going to be able to obtain my goals that I wanted if I had all of those other responsibilities. So I live in an apartment now. I don't have any, I love dogs, I love animals, but I have none because I know my lifestyle and the things I want to accomplish. I can't do those when I have these other responsibilities. Mm-hmm. So again, just, the discipline, the inspiration within yourself to do whatever it takes for you to get where you want to go. I mean,
that's
some
awesome.
People, like he was saying, like some people want to go to the bar. Some people, they have to have that sort of exit area or another part of their life that they get away from the other part of their life. But I'm like, I love my life. So
yeah.
So I'm not trying to get away from it, I'm trying to escape it. I
see what you're saying. Yeah.
Talking about the embracing the suck, is what we call it over here.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah. Nick, I think it's just, I could go on for hours. I think about the discipline you said, and you guys do. One thing about strongman I've watched you do embrace the pain, and that's something I admire that. Like, you don't run from it. Okay, this is the challenge. It's gonna hurt. Let's go get it done. So, man, Nick, it's inspiring beyond words, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, Nick, so we'll wrap it up. I do want to say thank you. Dane and I always say it's an open invitation. We can't wait to see what you continue to do in the mountains. You'll continue to move. The records you'll continue to break. We'll be watching you all along the way. Thank you again for just continuing to motivate countless lives. What you do is important, man. On and off the competitive field. It's great to get to chat with you, man. It's an open invitation. Please come back again sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully we'll have you on again soon. Okay.
Absolutely. This was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Awesome, man. Well, take care, Nick. Thank you again. We'll get you back today. Okay. Have a good one, man. Take care. So Dane and Van, talk to me, man. Like, I'm sitting here. I think I want to go run right now. What do you guys want to do?
Man, I want to see some. I can't wait for those records to fall that he was talking about breaking.
I know, man.
I mean, it's just inspirational to hear something like that. You don't say it often, but at that age, still motivated and still disciplined to do something like that, like he does.
That's a lot of respect for him and anybody like him, man. It's like, people talk about my age and how old I am, and he's older than I am and doing, just as much and more than I'm doing. And so I'm like, man, I'm better go work out.
Yeah. It just goes to show you that I think it dispels the myth that you don't have to quit doing something at a certain age. And he said this, even in, like, if you guys haven't seen it, please go check it out. I'll throw a link after the episode. They did a series called Strongest Man in History, and it's the best. In my opinion, it's the best TV show I've ever watched, because they take these things, like these legends. Like, then there's an episode where they do a Donald Denny thing, where this guy, he picked up 450-pound boulders and just carries them across a bridge. And he's like, they were talking about, I think he turned 51 during the event, which is fine. And he's just picking it up and just walking with it. Like, it doesn't matter your age. If you continue to train and do things right, when people are like, oh, I'm too old to go to school, or, I'm 10 years out of high school, or I can't work out now, my kids are growing up. It doesn't matter. All that stuff is just nonsense. Just get up and start doing it, So, and you said that too, Van. And by the way, I think you're still a strapping young buck, and so is Nick. You guys are still young, but it doesn't matter your age. Just go out there and do it. Do one thing better than yesterday. You know what I mean? So,
well, like he was talking about ice baths, and the methodology of an ice bath is like you're programming your brain with everything that you're doing, right? So if you, like, when you're getting in the ice bath, you're supposed to get right in all the way. You don't, like, stick a toe in and then, like, ease into it. You go all the way in, because in your mind you have to be all in, and so you're programming your brain to where it's like, whenever I do something, I do it. I'm all in doing it. So
that's crazy.
I think that mentality, is what champions like him, they have that,
Well, he looked at you. I told you, Van. He said, "You're the bull riding crazy guy." You know what I'm saying? He's like, So it's neat, that mutual respect. I'm telling you, in your respective field. So Van, thank you for doing this. We've got many more for you. We'll keep you in the know, man. We'd love to have you do this, Van. Thank you. It was an honor to have you both, and we look up to you, Van. I just want to get a chance to connect you with a different type of a legend, so I appreciate that. Dan, do you have anything? Yeah, man. Dan, do you have anything in closing on that? Because I'm kind of speechless now.
I just want to tell them both, thank you. I mean, the messages that they send and the things that they put out there, you can look at their body of work and be impressed, but once you talk to them, this is why we started this podcast, to display the type of individuals these guests are. And you'll be, even though they have a great body of work, when you start getting into what they are, they're even more impressive. So I thank all of our guests for being that everything and
that
more
catalyst.
Everything and more that we thought they were.
Man,
so it's been nothing but a great ride, and I'm always impressed with every guest we've had.
Every time.
And this, and this is no different.
So Vin, thank you. I got to hang out with two of my heroes, Vin and Nick. And then it's crazy to see this evolution of the sport for both of you. Vin, you're going on to continue to do great things. And Nick, I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon. And I'm telling you, if you hang out with him for a day, I've watched so many of like the way he interacts with the fans, the coolest, both of you guys, the kindest guys. And I always say successful people like Vin and Nick, the more successful they are, the nicer they are. It's so backwards, you know what I mean? And I love that about what they do. So it's just an honor, man. So Vin, thank you again. Nick, thank you again.
Thank you.
On behalf of Strongman and all the crazy bull riders out there and all that you do. As always, we say, don't forget that we love you. And Dane?
Thank you for listening.